see them in situations where they're falling helplessly, it's incredibly compelling, and you can't help it want to sympathize with them and want to try to do something about it.
It is a sight both disturbing and puzzling. Massive walruses plummeting to their deaths along the Alaska coast.
Yeah, we looked for carcasses under there or something, so that wasn't pretty.
As many as 5 dozen died in falls this past August in the Togiak National Wildlife Refuge. What makes it so puzzling? Walruses have rarely, virtually never been seen doing this anywhere else.
This is very unusual, very atypical behavior.
It would be strange enough if this had happened only once, but the walruses have displayed this bizarre and deadly behavior 3 times now over the last 3 years, leaving scientists searching for answers.
It was in part a mystery, in part just, you know, kind of a real head-scratcher. Boy, that's really strange. You know, wonder what's going on.
Wildlife biologist Dana Seegers was baffled when this unusual phenomenon began unfolding in 1994 at Cape Pierce in the refuge. As many as 12,500 male walruses gather here at a time to rest in the summer sun. Sometimes weighing more than 2,000 pounds, they're clumsy out of the water and seldom venture far from the beach. That's why biologists stationed here to keep an eye on the herds were so surprised when a number of the animals made their way up to the top of a steep cliff one stormy day in 1994. Walruses are normally good navigators, migrating thousands of miles in the water. But somehow, when they ended up here, they were unable to figure out how to get back down a hill they had just come up. Perhaps hearing the rest of the herd on the beach below, some of the walruses head down the slippery slope.
Other walruses see movement toward the edge, and the herd response is such that they follow the leader and ultimately slide right off onto the beach below.
There's about 25 on this beach and 3 on the earlier beach that we know of. So.
As many as 120 have fallen to their deaths over the past 3 years.
This guy in the water here, and you can see the broken shoulder. He's kind of flopping around the edge there.
Officials at the Fish and Wildlife Service began trying to solve this mystery. What was leading walruses up to the top of the bluff? The first theory, that the animals were trying to escape severe storms down below, was proven wrong this summer.
This year they had great weather when this occurred.
The second theory, perhaps the sights and sounds of nearby people frightened them up the bluff.
Was there boat activity offshore, or was there hunting going on? A lot of your first thoughts, you know, it's human related, or it's, you know, the observers were either conducting their observations.
After talking to observers, Seegers is confident that's not the reason either. Could it be some type of instinctive suicidal behavior? Seegers doesn't think so.
It'd be to say that we know what is in the mind of a walrus and that we could understand that. And that's putting human thoughts and emotions into an animal that, you know, we can't do that. We don't have that kind of information.
He feels there's probably a real simple reason walruses are climbing the bluff. It's too crowded below.
Individuals are trying to find resting space where they're not being bothered by their neighbors.
By using the bodies of others as step ladders, the animals have boosted themselves up off the beach, wearing down a small hill that used to prevent them from climbing up.
Now that there's a beaten path, there's really nothing to prevent them from going there.
We're going to try to run up there and put some flags up there and stop them coming down this way.
Attempts to block their path from the beach with scarecrow-like flags haven't worked. Observers have been able to turn back some of the animals, but can't be there all the time. And the Fish and Wildlife Service has decided this is a natural process with which people shouldn't interfere.
So far, our feeling is that the best approach to this is to let nature take its course.
Since walruses can't talk, we of course may never know for certain what is causing this bizarre behavior. we're left to accept that nature often plays by its own rules, and the game sometimes has a cool ending.
Moving, but not much, huh?
You have to recognize that there are elements of the natural world which are familiar and warm and fuzzy to us, but some of it's fairly brutal, and there's some of it that is very real world out there.
Wow, 120 of the great beasts have died so far. There are 200,000 left. Now, the tusk from the deceased walrus is actually sold, and the money from that goes to support nonprofit groups in Alaska.